Talking about how to find the surface area and volume of a square pyramid, which is a very simplistic example of the pyramids, but allows us to get used to the concept of what we're doing before we delve into more complex shapes with the pyramids. Now, simply, a pyramid is a 3D shape that has a polygon base, and it's got line segments going from all the vertices of the base, meeting at a single point up top. Your typical pyramid you're going to think of is really the pyramids of Egypt. That's an exact pyramid shape. Think of it almost like, again, a cone. Again, the cone has a circular base. Instead of having a circle on the bottom, we'll talk about polygons on the bottom, where today we're dealing with squares. And even when we're not dealing with squares, they always will be irregular pyramids, meaning they have a regular polygon base. So, like with the prisms, the difficulty lies in not the formulas themselves, but finding the areas of these bases, which is the Chapter 11 material, so always look back in your notes for that. So for the two equations you want to work with is surface area equals 1/2 PL plus B, volume is 1/3 BH, where P is again the perimeter of the base. So if it's a regular polygon, we just simply find P by doing P equals number of sides times our side length. Big H is the height of the pyramid, that will be given to us in the problem, or L, the slant height, will be given to us in the problem. And finally, big B, that's the area of the base. So again, this is for regular polygons. That will require us to have to do 1/2 the apothem times the number of sides times the side length. That will be defining the area of that base. Now, for today, we're only going to be talking about squares, so this formula won't be necessary for today, but will be necessary next time. Now, the unknowns, for most of them you have to find the apothem. Actually, for every single shape you have to find the apothem, because I'm only going to give you the slant height or the pyramid height, either H or L. I'm not going to give you both. So you're going to have to use this formula right here to solve for H or solve for L. So notice how the apothem is needed in this formula, so we need to find it every single time. Now, because the apothem will not always be a nice whole number, in fact most times it's a decimal, you're going to want to use these alternate formulas, where if I were to solve for L just equals simply the square root of A squared plus H squared. If I were to solve for H, it turns out H is just simply the square root of L squared minus A squared. Using these two alternate formulas allow you to simply solve for L and H all in one step, which is very useful when A is not an exact number, and you don't want to have any sort of rounding errors or making mistakes when you really didn't mean to, because you have to make sure you use, the exact number as we've done in the past. So for example, we want to find the surface area and volume of the square pyramid with side length 10 meters and pyramid height of 12 meters. So we need four quantities. We need the perimeter, we need the area, we need the height of the pyramid, and we need the slant height. Just like we did with the prisms, but now we need the slant height as well. Well, perimeter is always simply, for our regular polygon bases, number of sides times the side length. If it's a square, number of sides is 4, and our side length is given to us as 10. So 4 times 10 is 40. If again it's a square, we want to find the area of the base. We just simply take our side length and we square it. So for this shape, it's 100. And for this problem, the pyramid height is given to us as 12. Now, we need to solve for the slant height. So if we use our slant height is equal to the apothem squared plus the height squared, I can do the square then and get my answer. Now, we have the height, it's given to us as 12. But we don't have the apothem. Now, we could go through the process of solving for it, pretending this right here is like our pentagon or hexagon, so go through the process of getting x at the top angle, y half the side length, and setting up the trig ratio to solve for a. The nice thing is, though, your apothem is always just simply half the side length. So in this case, a is 6. And again, the reason why, I'm going to digress. So let's just pretend this is a pentagon. We have to find the top angle x by doing 180 over the number of sides, which is 45, and our y value is half the side length. So when you set up your triangle, again, this is only a piece of the base. If you notice, this is one of our special triangles. It's 45, 45, 90. That's why the apothem is simply just half the side length. It's going to be equal to this y value. So we're going to do 6 squared. Or, sorry, I don't know why I said 6. It should have been 5. My bad. so 5 squared. So if you do this all in your calculator, the square root of 5 squared plus 12 squared is 13. So L is 13. So that's the whole key for all these problems. You want to find your perimeter, your area, the height, and the slant height. Because once you have that, it's simply just plugging in. So I'm going to go ahead and erase then all this stuff here. So I've got some room to work with. I think next time I'll just leave myself a little more room because this is a pain to erase. Alright, there we go. Okay, so let's go find the surface area and volume. So surface area is 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height plus the area of the base. And if you work that out, you'll find the the surface area is 360 meters squared. Your volume is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. When you work that out, you get 400 meters squared. Okay, so that's example number 1. That's the concept we're going to do for each one of the examples we're going to be doing today. So next one, we just want to find the surface area and volume of the square pyramid. It's got a side length of 18, slant height of 20 feet. So I still want to find perimeter, area, height, and slant height. So this one we're given slant height is 20. We'll plug that right in. We're told the perimeter, we know the side length is 18, so the perimeter is 4 times 18, which is 72. For the area, because it's just a square, just 18 squared, which is 324. So we can find that stuff pretty quickly for the squares. 3 of the 4 found almost immediately. And now for the heights, well, we know h equals the square root of L squared minus A squared. And again, our A value is half the side length, so half of 18 is 9. So we do our calculator. H squared is the square root of 20 squared minus 9 squared, which is a decimal, which what you want to leave it as for these problems, works out to be 17.861. So now we have everything we need. Again, either perimeter and base for the square pyramids are very straightforward, very simple, very easy to find. You'll be given one of those two, and the other one is a very straightforward Pythagorean theorem extension. So surface area, 1/2 the perimeter times the slant heights plus area of the base. Volume, 1/3 the area of the base times the height. And make sure the 17.861, you stored it as a variable because it's not exactly 17.861. So for example, I would have stored it as x because that's the first variable I use. If you use a or b or whatever you want, I don't care. So your final answer surface area is nicely 1,044 feet squared. Your volume is going to be 1,928.942 feet cubed. Okay? We're going to do one more together, and then you can do the next two on your own. So, surface area and volume of the square pyramid. We need the perimeter, area, height, slant height. So, let's get a square again. So it's 4 times, our side length is 14 feet. So 4 times 14, which is 64. Oh, no, sorry, not 64. Blah. 56. My bad. Area of the base is the side length squared, so it's 14 squared, which is 196. And this time we're given the pyramid height is 10. So we've got 3 of the 4. The thing we need to solve for is L. So first we need the apothem, which is half the side length. So the A value is 7. So L equals the square root of A squared plus H squared. So when we work that out, we get L to be 12.207. Make sure we store that. Again, I'll store it as x because that's the first variable I have. So your surface area is 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height plus the area of the base. So again, you want to put that all in one step in your calculator. So 1/2 times 56 times the variable for L plus 196 all in one step. Hit enter. By doing it all in one step, like we did with the L equation right here, it makes it easier so that you don't make mistakes with your rounding of decimals, since we're going to start getting a lot more that are not exact. These are nice, these are squares, but other ones like pentagons or octagons or 20gons, this will be a much more complex process, but that's next time. Anyway, so your final surface area is 537.784 feet squared. Your volume is 1/3 area of the base times the height. When you plug all that in, you get 653.3 repeating feet cubed. Okay, so you're now going to do this next two on your own. So go ahead and find the surface area and volume of this square pyramid. Side length is now 4 centimeters, slant height is 13 centimeters. So solve for the perimeter, area of the base, height of the pyramid, and your slant height to then plug in. So go ahead and pause the video while you work on that. Okay, so you should be finding your surface area to be 120 centimeters squared, your volume to be 68.508 centimeters cubed. Your perimeter is 16 because you're doing 4 times 4. Your area of the base is 16 because you're doing 4 squared. The height when you solve for, because your apothem is 2, half the side length, you'll get 12.845, and you plug in and get the surface area and volume. If you didn't get that, so you probably messed up any one of these quantities right here, these 5 things. Take a look at your differences there and take a look at your examples. If you still can't find it, then make sure you come and talk to me next time so we can discuss what went wrong. Alright, last problem, same thing, surface area and volume of the square pyramid. It's got a side length of 12, pyramid height of 8. Find everything you need to find the surface area and the volume. Okay, so for this one, your final answers are 384 meters squared for the surface area and 384 meters cubed for the volume. Don't be freaked out if you have same number answers, because there are different things. One quantity is an area, meters squared, one quantity is a volume, meters cubed. Perimeter should have been 48, area of the base is 144, height is 8, slant height is 10, and then the apothem was 6, because half the side length. Okay, so those are your square pyramids that we're doing. Those are the simplistic examples, so hopefully you're now fine with this material here. We're going to apply this information next time to find the surface area and volumes of more complex pyramids. The key for all those shapes, as with the prisms, this number right here, this area of the base, is to be the toughest part. Finding the slant height or the height is very straightforward, because once you know the apothem, it's a very simple formula. Perimeter, you'll always be given the side length and the number of sides, you just multiply them together. It's finding the area of the polygon base that is more complex, but again, you've already mastered that. Don't freak out over the material, just relax, you're going to be fine. Your homework is worksheet 12.4a. It'll be 5 square pyramid examples. So again, I'll see you next time.